Mark, I'm so happy we were able to connect again. It's a
Yeah.
tremendous, tremendous privilege.
Thank you.
Hey, do you ever get tired when people tell you all these things? Like they're amazed to talk to the hammer, or you get sick of it already, or no? Or is it still?
Oh no, it's I just appreciate it, and I just realized I can. I remember when I was a kid, something like that. I remember what would mean to me. So I got that. I can just make somebody happy by being nice. So that's beautiful.
Totally, totally. And you have no idea how much you mean to a lot of people. And I don't know if you heard, but George St. Pierre was talking the other day, and he was asked, the people that should be the real Hall of Fame for the sport of martial arts, and he said Hoist Gracie, Mark Coleman as the two names. People think that obviously he himself should be included, but definitely you are one of the pioneers. Like I think people should give you accolades for even building the sport beyond everything else, besides the fact that you were the UFC heavyweight champion and all the other accomplishments you've done. And I don't mean to focus on that because I know you've heard this a billion times.
No,
Uh,
that's pretty amazing because I am me and George, and we've built quite a relationship because his father was an alcoholic, and we've talked many times about his father and about myself, and
yeah,
yeah, I met him when he was very young. I left quite an impression on him. Me and Randall did. Uh, uh, we were crazy, but I yeah, that's truly amazing that he says those kind of things about me. Uh, some days I was pretty good when I had it all together, when I prepared properly, and I did the right things. I think I was pretty good, but my consistency in my career, it just wasn't there to be considered a GOAT. But on certain days, I was able to rise up. But consistency is that's George St. Pierre. He was consistent. I mean, he's just a good, humble guy, a very kind guy, and obviously, I respect how hard I know how hard that man worked.
yeah,
But
yes,
what I like about him the most is he did watch the sport, and then he was so smart. He realized right away that he was going to have to become a world class wrestler if he wanted to be the champion. And he went out and did something that many people cannot do. He became a great wrestler, even though he started late in his career. I mean, most great wrestlers started when they were 5 years old, but he
yeah,
became he became advanced wrestler, and it comes down to his work ethic because he was prepared to grind, and he really is a wrestler. And
right,
I always
right.
say, if you can't wrestle, you can't fight.
Absolutely. And listen, coming from you, I'm sure he'll appreciate when he hears these things because who knows about wrestling more than you? You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people may not have understood what you just said in terms at the time because I think he became a great champion because of that wrestling ability, and people didn't give him enough credit. I think at the time for being, like you said, a wrestler. They focused on the other things, but he was taking people down.
Yeah,
People
very,
that
very challenging for a, a non wrestler, um, who's 25 years old and wants to become a wrestler. They can get very good at being able to stop the takedown, but it's very, very difficult to become a advanced takedown specialist. And George St. Pierre, he became very good at, because taking a man down is one of the most challenging things in the world,
absolutely,
especially when the other guy is elite. So I mean, that's what's most impressive to me about George. He can do it all, but I'm impressed by how good his wrestling got.
yeah. Like
I
I said,
don't. I say, hey, I'm not going to say he could have been an Olympic champion. I'm not going to go that far
right.
because no, these the Olympic champions are truly one of a kind. But George is Olympic caliber, but champion. that's saying too much.
Nor do I think he was trying to be an Olympic
Yeah,
wrestling
exactly.
champion. He said himself that he's not a master of wrestling, or he's not a master of boxing. He's a master of mixing those things together and using
Exactly.
them to win fights, like you did and like everybody else.
Exactly.
He's a master. But like you said, one thing you really truly stressed correctly: his work ethic. He's
Yeah.
he's really you got to admire how hard he has worked, and funny enough continues to work even as he's retired now, right? And I
Yeah.
think like that's what separates some people. But it was amazing. I don't know if a lot of people know about, like you said, his father and the addiction part, and that's something that also a lot of people, when they heard about, your struggles with addiction, and it's been some time already. I work with a lot of guys that are in drug and alcohol rehab, and it's amazing when I mention to them your name, they get, believe it or not, first they don't believe me, but secondly, the second reaction is they get actually inspired by the fact that you are not only that you beat the continuing to work and beat the addiction, but the fact that you are someone like you is able to do it, and someone like you is able to openly speak about it. Because a lot of I don't know why, but there's still a bit of stigma in this country about it. And what do you think about why people, celebrities like yourself and other people, are not able to openly talk about the issue like that?
Well, I totally understand because that was probably, one of the reasons I really enjoyed drinking, because of the way it made me feel. I mean, it took away all the fear and anxiety. It was fake, but that's what I liked about it. And um, people are I'm sure they're ashamed and embarrassed and things like that. But I'm blessed. The my higher power has taken away the fear and anxiety and shame. That's the greatest thing I found about getting sober, is finding the peace and realizing that I do fit in, and I am accepted, and I think my higher power. Um, I could never get up in front of a crowd of people and give talks. That terrified me. I'll get in the middle of a cage with a pair of shorts on and fight some man in front of a million. That that was very scary too. I'm not going to deny that, but that's the fear that I was able to deal with, and I enjoyed that kind of fear and
Yeah.
and challenge. But getting up and giving talks and speaks, that's something I never imagined I would ever be comfortable doing. And I'm still amazed that because I just because it was the biggest fear my whole life, and I always had to drink to get up there and give a talk. And then obviously I didn't realize it. I thought I did everything better when I was drinking. Obviously that was way wrong. I do everything better sober, including getting up and talking to people, because I now have to go back, and sometimes I watch some of my interviews and stuff, and now that I am ashamed of, because I see myself and I realize that, I had people saying they feeling sorry for me because they think I have CTE and stuff like that. But in hindsight, the reality is, no, I was impaired.
Yeah.
I was drinking and probably taking some painkillers or whatever else I did to to try to fit in and be accepted. But the Lord took that shame away, because I realized how many people are in the same situation as I am, and
Yeah.
uh, I can't believe that I have um, my calling. Of course, I thought my calling was to be a fighter, to be a champion, and to train fighters. That's maybe one of my callings, but um, I really feel like I'm here to. I enjoy helping people, and the Lord has given me a platform to do it, and eh, I don't. If I just save one person, that's a beautiful thing. But I think I have the ability by just talking and letting people know that it can be done, to help people out. And that's what life's all about, is being able to give back and help people out. That's what brings me peace now.
Totally. And let me tell you about the motivational factor that you are, because when people hear your story, when you talk about, because the addiction is, like you said before, it's probably the most difficult, complicated enemy you've ever faced. Because it could be taken down, but it's always going to keep fighting. This addiction is never done and defeated. It keeps going for the next round, next round, next round. And like you said, you had inhibitions about public speaking, but you do it so well now. You know why? Because you're sharing a true, sincere story about what's going on in life. And if a great champion like Mark Coleman can be challenged by an addiction and work to defeat it and show people that it could be done, it continues to be done, that people get inspired. And I think you mentioned the calling in life. You already proved that you're a great champion. You were a champion in many places for many years. But this addiction thing and helping other people, I think it's your second, if not equally important calling, like, because you're able to change more than one life. I really, as
Oh,
I said,
it's definitely equal. It's more than equal.
yeah,
It's more important. But um, the fact that I was able to be successful in a fight game, so I guess that gives me a voice, and I feel obligated to do this, and I'm just I'm 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 really amazed that I don't have. I mean, um, you have to let go of your resentments and I made a lot of mistakes, but I am sorry, and that's what you have to be. You have to let it go and move on, because it's in my past,
yeah.
and I'm not ashamed anymore. So that's the beauty of it.
That's absolutely the fact. And I think a lot of people have difficult time letting go of the past. They think about
Very
the
hard.
past and it becomes like a weight on their shoulders and they don't want to go forward. But if you can like reinvent yourself almost and say, let me use my potential, my advantages like you have. Let me use those advantages to help other people to change the narrative really, because what it was before is not all there is. Like you said, some of the interviews you've given, you're not proud of today, but that's in the past. That cannot be changed. As I always say, until they invent the time machine, we can't go back. We can only go forward. But you changing other people's lives is actually, almost like changing the past to some degree, because you're able to change something that exists today by your one word. By I'm going to show this video to some people. I'm going to get some people to understand that it's possible to beat the addiction, and people are doing it year in and year out, and every day is difficult. But by utilizing this support, and that's why I want to ask you, I think the support of people like you and just other people that are in recovery and that have beat addiction, have beaten it. I think it's important for people like that to talk to one and support one another, in not only by celebrities like yourself, but really just anyone and everyone out there, just to really help and support each other in this. Do you think support is really one of the most important factors to keep this addiction defeated?
Yeah, puts a smile on my face. It's so beautiful. I have many families. I have my own family, my personal family. I have my wrestling family. But now, immediately when I checked into rehab, I immediately knew I was in the right place, even though everybody in there was very, very unique and very different, and nobody was in my shoes, but in different ways of life. But we were all the same in one thing, where you mentioned this disease is very, very sneaky. He will never give up, and I've come to accept that. Every day I'm going to wake up, and that's the first thing I think about is alcohol. not in a bad way. I wake up and I thank the Lord that I wake up and I didn't drink yesterday. And I don't feel like crap today. So every morning it's the first thing I think about. And then, and of course, there's going to be times. It's every day. It's going to be. I have the tools. It's going to be a desire because it just is. But I've learned the tools to shake that out of my head because your mind is. It's unbelievable how in your head you can be. I have the skills now to shake it out and live in the moment and find the things to be grateful for and move on. Because when I drive, if I drive to these appearances and stuff, I've realized there's a lot of signs out there with promotion of alcohol, and my mind takes me right to that sign. But I quickly realized that I am so much happier and so much better of a place now sober. I'm so grateful. I don't ever want to go back to that horrible place.
God forbid, never, never again. And I think that support that you give to people. One thing I want to tell you, and you tell me if you agree. I spoke to other guys in recovery, and one thing I brought up is that when you share that support, when you share your fire, so to speak, it does not diminish your fire. So by you supporting other people, it kind of helps you in your addiction recovery to maintain that fight going. Is that the case? Like, do you feel better when you actually help other people succeed in this thing?
That's the beauty of it. I'm blessed that I have the platform and people are inspired by me. So I feel like I have to. I have no choice but to try to help save somebody else. People help save me. At the end of the day, save myself, but people help save me. And I couldn't have done it on my own. We can't do it on our own. It's impossible to do on your own. We are a family, and we are the same. We are the same in that way. So I yes, like the AA meetings, it's hard to go to them because you can easily just skip out. But then when you do go and I get to say it's been a year and 1 month now. A year and 1 month. A year and a month ago, it was a bad place. But
hey man, you made a
so
decision.
you go to the AA meetings, and I get to say a year and a month, whereas the guy across the room, he's got 1 month in, and you get to hear his story, and it makes you realize you don't want to go back to that
Right.
30-day coin. So I help this guy. He wants to be where I'm at. He's trying to get to a year, and I'm trying to avoid ever going back to happen to say it's been 30 days. So it's the only way.
I think it reminds you of how far you've come and where you were,
Yeah.
like you said before. At the beginning of that, you made a decision a year and a month ago, and you said, man, that's it. This ain't gonna happen. It takes strength of character, right? It takes support.
Yeah.
It takes support to remind each other what's going on and what it was before. And I see it in every person's eyes. I see, like I said, everyone's got a different story, but there's something in common. You can call somebody fighting the addiction and recovery in Australia, or people in Japan or somewhere else. You know what I mean? And it's the same mindset that they want to help each other succeed, that they want to be that person. I know guys that are, let's say, 15 years, believe it or not, sober in recovery, and they tell me that it's the same thing every day. You have to do it. It's not easier. It's not more difficult. It's just the same. It's a fight.
Yeah.
And then when I hear people like you, especially people like you, but then also other people in recovery, it gives them such a boost of motivation and energy, and they love it. They really feel like it could be done. If a guy like you, had to struggle with it, it makes them feel like they're not alone. It makes them feel like they're not somehow a lesser person, because they see people that are considered toughest and the best, like you said.
It's a big family. We have a very, very, very big family, a lot of relatives. I lost track, but
Hey,
yeah,
Mark.
yeah, like you said, it truly is. Like I hear a lot of people, they always tell me it's going to get easier. I'm trying to understand what that means, because every day it's the same, and I accept the fact that every day it's going to be the same. It's never gonna go away. But I have the skills, and I've learned what I can do to avoid going back to that horrible place.
Right, right. Mark, I believe you have three daughters, and
Yeah,
okay. How are your kids? How are they doing? Are they supportive?
fantastic. I currently live with my oldest daughter, my baby, and we're closer than we ever been in our life, and it's
That's awesome.
amazing because she's a feisty one just like me. So we had some scraps, but we've never gotten along better, man. Because I just hey, I'm realizing a calm man is a dangerous man, and I like being dangerous in a
Yeah,
good way. So
yeah, yeah.
that's what I and I haven't always been calm. Mark Coleman was not known as a very calm person, but there's times and places I can still when I walk into a gym, my energy is second to nobody. I will bring the energy to any gym. That's what I do best. But
Yeah.
in a gym, it's okay to be exuberant. But most of the time, a calm man is the cool man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But now, like you said, you directed that same energy and that exuberance towards, these good causes, training fighters and helping people beat the disease, man, which is what it
Yeah.
is. It's a disease. But it's so cool to hear that your daughters, when the kids support, these fights, which is nothing short of a fight, this addiction thing. I think it gives you an extra motivation, like everything else together. I mean, it's just so good to hear. Awesome.
I always wanted to make people proud of me, but I always felt the only way to make people proud of me is by training hard and being a champion. Yes, people are proud of that, but it doesn't compare to the proudness people have of what I'm doing now, and that makes me feel good, including my daughters, my mom and dad, my family, many people that I had no clue. You know, I had no clue everybody was so worried about me. You know, I didn't think people cared, but it's amazing to find out how many people have been worried about me for years. I mean, I didn't think I was hiding it. I mean, because I didn't really try to hide it that bad, but I didn't know how out there it really was, and I'm not ashamed of it anymore. It's because I got through all that, and I couldn't be here today.
Yeah, but no, Mark, it's all good. Don't worry about it. I didn't want to bother you for too long anyway. I know you got a lot of stuff going on, but yeah, like I said, it's so inspiring people to hear. Do you do a lot of motivational or these talks where you share with people your whole story, or do you get busy with
I
that?
was I was that's something I was very excited about when I first got out of rehab. I was excited about doing that. It's something that I'm still going to do. Um, I have to believe that I'm okay at doing it. I don't like doing things that I'm not very good at doing, so I had to believe in myself to do it. But that's something I I'm doing it with you right now, so I feel good about this, and I just need to book it more often and be more comfortable and realize that I do have the ability to help people out, because I don't, you got to believe in yourself. And, sometimes, I don't, I'm just like everybody else. I don't believe in myself too much. So I got to keep telling myself that I have the ability to help people, and I just got to keep doing it.
Listen, I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear you don't believe in yourself because you've accomplished so much. But let me tell you, you're one of the best when it comes to motivating people. You talk so well. when you talk about this, not about fighting, but about this thing, about this, changing other people's lives. You should do as much as you can of this. And you're, not that my opinion matters, but you're doing it so well. And what I can tell you is that I see the reaction it has on the guys that are in recovery, that are, like you said, 1 month in or just a couple of weeks in. They are in such need of support. They're such in need of motivation and such in need of acknowledgement that they can do it. And I see guys that have been in rehab, 4 or 5 times, and they kind of start thinking that, it's not possible. And I tell them every time, it's possible. Don't give up. Don't give up. People
Relapse is part of recovery. I don't
Yeah.
want to find out. I don't want to find out, but that's something I learned. Relapse is part of recovery. So I mean, you ain't gonna win every fight, but you can sure get up and try again.
Yeah, 100%. See, when they hear you talking about that and you saying those words, it gives them that hope. I think it's all about hope, and it's all about the light at the end of the tunnel, because it's there.
Hope and finding confidence, because like I said, myself, people know I doubt myself a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, but everybody does. And you have to, everything begins with a thought in your mind. Your mind is very powerful. So everything begins with a thought. So when you're thinking negative all the time, it's going to cause problems. You have to find a way, the ability to turn a negative thought into positive. Live right into the moment. I mean, live in the moment and find something to be happy about, because there's a lot of things to be happy about.
Absolutely. Focus on the positive and build on that, because positive thoughts, I think they lead to other positive thoughts. And I think that's what it's all about.
Everything begins with a thought. So you got to make them positive.
Yeah, man, 100%. Mark, just one last thing. When you mentioned confidence and you mentioned doubting in the fights, and you've had so many fights before you were a champion, during, did you always have that fear? Did you have the fear of facing the next? Because I think people that faced you obviously had fears and they knew what they were coming up against. But did you also have fears and like doubts, and did you have to work yourself up to face the man?
Every time, everybody was a challenge. I respected everybody's ability but the only way, confidence is the key. The only way to get confidence is by how hard you prepare and practice. So if I didn't prepare properly, I went in a lot of my fights, I knew I didn't train and prepare properly. Mostly they went the way my mind was telling me. And then a lot of times, the losses that I did have, I was not really that surprised, because I knew my mind wasn't right. My mind wasn't right because I didn't prepare. So yeah, there's fear involved. It's how you deal with the fear. And the only way to deal with the fear is by taking yourself through deep, torturous preparation. Preparing for that fight is the only way to be able to have the confidence you need.
I got you. Mark, thanks so much. If possible, I hope we're going to get a chance to talk again about addiction, because like I said, it gives these guys that I work with so much motivation and so much
Awesome. Glad to hear
fire.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see it, when I see it, it kind of gives me the desire to do this all the time. I said, man, I sometimes I'm like, I wish Mark and other guys like Mark were right here, right now, telling these guys, what they think and supporting them, because that makes such a difference. And I see it in their eyes.
Well, I feel very comfortable talking to you. So I enjoy doing this. I need to do it more. I'm a procrastinator, so I have to stop being so procrastinating, and I need to get on it, because tomorrow's not promised. So we got to get on it today.
Appreciate it, man. I'll try to get you involved more and more if I can.
All
but
right.
I totally appreciate your time, and I really, really respect that, and I really, really appreciate it. We're gonna talk again. Thanks so much, Mark.
All right. Thank you. You have a great day.
Enjoy yourself. You too, man. You too.